There's nothing like good coffee in the morning, and shoutouts to my favorite starter, Bean Squirtle. But what is up, my little Deinos? Vepsis, your coach of the Helsinki Atregas, and apparently I also look quite a different a person with glasses or without glasses. Shoutouts to Iris Emerald for pointing that out after last week's upload, or well, which I uploaded this week's Wednesday. But either way, we are here for my week 7 game in the UBL D-League Season 1 when we are going up against Sarene Grace and her team being the Chicago Shaymin Sky, and her roster you can see right from the screen. I do actually want to intend to make these last remaining 3 weeks more chill for myself regards to the uploading itself, and try to make them a little bit shorter than normal and not go as the in-depth. And hopefully you guys don't mind this, and maybe you prefer it this way to be less informatic and me dragging out the video further, like a lot longer than it needs to really be, with all of the detailed information that I would normally giving feedback regards to the battle itself. But that is gonna be the roster that we go up against. And also I do want to mention the transactions that I made, that I didn't actually make an upload after all in Friday, but I made 3 transactions, one of them actually being technically a trade to change out for my roster, which is gonna be my final team for the remaining of the season, including the playoffs. So I dropped my Mega Lopunny for Mega Gallade, which I know who would ever draft Mega Lopunny and then drop it at some point of the season. Well, I did it because most of the teams that I would expect to face in playoffs, I already have seen what kind of matchups I had versus them and how my certain mons were performing. And Mega Lopunny to me, only having 4 kills in 6 weeks, what we have had so far in this season, felt like I could have gotten more out of my Mega Evolution. And I figured partially because how Mega Lopunny didn't perform better than that was due to the matchup that it had versus the potential playoffs team. So I figured it would be better for me to swap out my Mega Evolution to another great Mega Evolution in Mega Gallade, which I will think will be having better matchup versus majority of the teams that I could potentially have rematch versus. Then I also swapped Starmie for Greninja. This was actually a trade with Skyrander. He originally had Greninja on his team, but he wanted to get rid of it because he didn't feel like he was getting too much out of it. And actually, funnily enough, he also dropped his Starmie, which we traded Greninja for, so we don't have to worry about facing a mon from our original team on his team if we happen to face him in playoffs. But Greninja I wanted to pick up just to make sure that I don't have 3 psychic types on my team. And Greninja is a mon that I really want to give it a try, and I think it's gonna be a good fit on my team, kind of giving me better speed tiers overall. Mega Gallade actually fixed a speed tier gap on my team, and Greninja provides still me some elite speed tier that I would be losing out not having Mega Lopunny anymore. And the final and third and final change of the roster that I did was that I dropped Weezing for Cramble due to the fact that I wanted to have a Cleric on my team back yet again that I was kind of lacking. And if there's someone who I believe that is the best user in Draft League using Cramble in itself, I kind of want to give a pat on my back and think that I'm probably am the best user of Cramble in Draft League, to be honest. Like that, it's a weird thing, like that mon is one of my favorite fairy types to use in Draft League format, and I don't know why it always seems to perform as well as it does. It just fits my style, I guess. And if you haven't seen me using a Thunder Cramble in the NPO Mages week 1, which I did upload quite a bit of while already, but you can find it from my channel. That's just the peak of example that I can do a lot of different things with that mon and feel really comfortable with. And I figured it will be a better fit on my team versus the playoff teams as well as we are moving forward. But let's go and see how this battle is gonna turn out. You have been able to see already the team that I had to prepare for, and the layout will be showing that which 6 mons I'm gonna be bringing and what 6 mon did she bring versus me. And before we jump into the battle itself, let's go through quickly the team. I have a Chowdy-Berry, Rotom-Heat, mostly physically defensive to soft check Mega Marvel. Then we have a Flying UMC as the Landorus-Therian with Earthquake, Fly, Sword Dance and Defog. Then we have a very standard Bob Alola Mug with the Figgy Berry, Recycle Set, all the stab moves basically, Knocko, Pursuit and Poison Jab. Then we have a Expert Belt Greninja with Water Shuriken, Dark Pulse, U-Turn and Taunt, holding the Expert Belt. Then we have 3 attacks, Sword Dance, Mega Gallade being my primary winning condition, with Drain Punch, Earthquake, Shadow Sneak, and then the Sword Dance. And then we have very standard size method, a more so a physically defensive set to check things like the Araquanid if it would have been brought, and also the Arcanine, which was to be brought into this game as well. So shoutouts to my favorite starter being the Squirtle, just with my coffee cup. There's nothing better than coffee in the morning, but either way, that's gonna be the team. Seismitoad was running Earth, Power, Skull, Toxic and Stealth Rock. So let's go and see how this battle is gonna be turning out. I'm gonna be leading off with my Rotom-Heat because it has the best matchup versus the majority of the things from her roster, or what she bred as a team of 6 to this game. And if it doesn't match up well versus something in front of me, I can always hard swap out and deal with those things. Like, for example, something like Gladius would have been a bad matchup here, but I had Bob in the back just in case for that. She's gonna be leading with me with the quote-unquote Mega Marvel, which turns out to be Zorok, as I go for the Volt Switch, covering all potential scenarios in that matchup that I was seeing in front of me. Because if it happened to turn out to be Zorok, I knew I'd take the hit and intensify it. If she swapped into Latios, I could have just got a free Volt Switch into my Alola Muk. And whatever kind of auto swap she would have done, I basically gained the momentum, unless she would have whatever reason swap into the Jolteon. But her turning out to be Zorok on this case, I was able to go into my Greninja and just finish this thing off with a U-turn, as it showed out to be a Choice Scout set. And I knew if it happened to be a Choice Scout, I take it relatively well, being a Pod Dog type with the Greninja. So here I brought Rotom-Heat in, as I had to make the decision first, which I will be bringing in first. She's gonna be bringing his Dusknoir in here, and I have to start to kind of scout out what kind of Dusknoir this is, because I kind of was worrying about it having dual status in Toxic and Will-O-Wisp. I think it has to have Will-O-Wisp for my Alola Muk and having Colbur Berry, but it could also still have Toxic to wear down other things with that alongside with the Nightshade. So that is kind of why I'm utilizing my Rest Talk with my Rotom-Heat versus this thing. Kind of try to whittle it down, and if I happen to get a Volt Switch at some point, I can basically play from there. Sorry about that barf. But either way, we are gonna be turning out to get Volt Switch on our second Sleep Talk turn. And we have been able to whittle down the Dusknoir a little bit. And here, I'm gonna be going into my Alola Muk, and here she is gonna be revealing to have Trick Room. And once I went into this thing, I started to worry about her making a hard swap into Mega Marvel here, because it technically can take any one hit from my Alola Muk and really abuse the Trick Room. So I made a hard swap trying to expect the Mega Marvel to come in, but it turns out to be that she actually stays in, as I went into my Seismitoad to kind of check that thing, and off the chance she will stay in, I can still deal with this thing 1v1. So she didn't pull the trigger, oddly enough to me, and then happens to just stay in under the Trick Room with his Dusknoir, or with her Dusknoir. So I end up just toxicing this thing while it was in front of me, and proving to be a little bit annoying thing for me, because I'm still being paranoid about what kind of status move it's running and not allowing my Alola Muk potentially getting burned. But at this point I started to think that maybe she just doesn't have whatever reason the Will-O-Wisp on this set. So I'm gonna be pulling my trigger back into the Alola Muk, and now it being toxic and being on time, and even if it has Colbur Berry, I easily just two-shot this thing right from the bat, especially because I'm actually a Adamant Nature variant with my Alola Muk. And with the Nightshades being hit in front of me, or towards me, the Figgy Berry does pop out here, and we just go for the knockoff here, do relatively good damage through the Colbo Berry to this thing, and afterwards this, I can basically just finish this thing off right from here and still be in a very high health. The only thing having to worry about that, I have to recycle the berry back later on in the battle if I need it. And now the thread is coming in Mega Marvel, and here I kind of make a safe swap into my Rotom-Heat, half sacking it if she predicts this and is able to kill me off. And also at the same time covering the fact that if she tries to set up with a Sword Dance, knowing that a Lolomag for the most part can't really touch unless I run fire coverage for it, I wanted to make sure that whatever mon comes in is gonna be able to make sure that it doesn't get further than +2, and then Landorus-Therian can revenge kill it with the Earthquake. But she makes a good play, predicting the Rotom-Heat to come in, goes for the Rock Slide and covering that play. And now I just go into Landorus-Therian, and here I had to actually think about a little bit what is my best play here. Try to predict the Latias or go for the safe Earthquake, and I figured that, you know what, I'm not gonna be overthinking this play at all. I have to address the threat in front of me, so we are gonna obliterate the Mega Marvel with our Adamant Earthquake with our Landorus-Therian. Now the Latias does show up, and now I just make my best optimal play, just going into my natural check to it, being my Lolomag, mainly because I was fearing it to have Ice Beam or going for the Draco Meteor if it doesn't have Ice Beam, but she happens to go for the Shadow Ball, so I was like, okay. I had the Flying EMC, so I could have just potentially just popped this thing, but it is what it is. I had to respect the threat that it was in front of me and the coverage what it can have. And speaking of coverage, she is running a Charge Beam Latias without not having Colbo Berry either, so very interesting set from her behalf. And I was fearing actually here her going for a Draco Meteor and finish up my Bob, but she actually just go for a second consistent Charge Beam, being at +2 afterwards that one, but my Bob is gonna be able to finish that thing off and getting already to its second kill of the game so far. And now we only have 2 mons to deal with in Jolteon and the Arcanine itself, and she's gonna be going for the Hidden Power Ice, I would think, cause the other Hidden Power that she could have potentially had would have been Grass, but it didn't reveal to be a resistant hit, so I would assume that was a Hidden Power Ice, expecting my Landorus-Therian to come in. So I'm gonna be just staying and go for the Recycle, and here I go for the Poison Jab, cause this was actually one of her Sea Captains potentially, and the Zoroark revealed to be Scout, so I figured the Poison Jab would do more damage, and there's always chance for me to get the Poison, and I do get the Poison, which is kind of amazing. And here I was kind of banking on that I would live this hit and go for the Recycle, but I'm sorry, Bob, you went down for no reason due to that crit. In hindsight, I should have swapped into one of my ground types and be very safe with that, and same with my Defenso in that regard, and try to get a 5-4 win, but the crit is gonna happen in back-to-back weeks towards me. Thankfully this time around it doesn't really matter too big scheme of things, except that I'm gonna be getting a lower Defenso win potentially here, cause otherwise I could have secured a 5-4 win, but we are gonna be able to turn out to having a 4-0 win, which is kind of common Defenso win that I've been able to secure this season. I think this might be either my 4th or 3rd 4-0 win this season so far, which is pretty nice. I cannot really complain about that. The main focus right now for the remaining of the season for me is to just get the W's no matter what, and I don't have to worry about Defenso at this point, either in a remaining of the regular season or in the playoffs, obviously. But good game to Sarene Grace. I think this was pretty much a uphill battle for him right from the start, and not because I'm the undefeated team and her season not being as strong, but I just believe that the matchup was heavily in my favor with the rosters in itself. So I think she was battling a very uphill battle before even the battle started. So it was good to see her trying out some different things and different sets. To me, the most odd sets were the Arcanine with Curse, but you know what, she was in a position to try out something different, so I don't really necessarily complain about her try out something different. I think the Latias could have been, instead of like Charge Beam, it could have been Calm Mind versus me if she wanted to go that route, but hey. Either way, cool game for sure, and a very quick paced battle. And thank you all for watching. I don't know why I put my glasses on. I guess they are the hindsight glasses for the crit happening on my Bob. I'm really sorry, Bob, but speaking of my Alola Mug, I do want to showcase the kill rate and also showing the roster as a whole if you kinda missed out when I tried to explain my changes. So this is gonna be the roster for the remaining of the season, and look at my Bob. My Alola Mug is actually within my team, tied as kill leader with Korean Black and Landorus-Therian as of right now. So that's pretty cool to see. I always really thought that Alola Mug can be a very solid member for the team, but I didn't expect it to be fighting for the kill leader of my team, considering all the mons that I have. And my Galade, just like Mega Lopunny, it didn't really have to do anything, so apparently it doesn't really matter if I had a Mega Audino as my Mega at this point, cause they don't seem to get their chance to shine. But hopefully Mega Galade's time will come, and I'm sure it will come to shine. But that is gonna be the week 7 game. I don't know why that was so hard to pronounce for me. Thank you all for watching. Stay tuned for the NPL Majors week 5 game, I believe. It's gonna be going up as well today. The NPL took a little bit of break last weekend, that's why there wasn't any upload, but hopefully you're excited for that as well. We go up against Trev CL and his undefeated team as well, and we have to be the spoilers in that regard and be the underdog over there. And check out Sarene Grace's side of the video. Check out all of the courses in the UBL D-League. I haven't been shouting out my opponents often enough. I have noticed this in hindsight. I always forget to do that, but I'm gonna be trying to remember to do them. So check all of the courses out down below in the description. Their links will be there. And check out their season as well. Thank you to AutoMatthic for recording the game, and shoutouts to SlackOut not only for training my team but also doing great job with the graphics. But with that, I'll be leaving out. So thank you all yet again for watching, and until next time, I'll be see you guys later.